Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Think Tank Sports. Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen. Check us out on the socials. That's Facebook, that's 10, and the IG. And listen to us on Spotify for podcasters or wherever you get your podcasts. We're out there, and watch us on YouTube. Here we are. You can see Mike has officially settled into the podcast studio. We feel like we got a good setup there. So kudos after a couple of weeks of we're going to try this, we're going to try that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Uh, Things are good in the podcast studio department. We're here to talk about week 6 of the NFL. Pardon me if I'm not terribly excited about week 6 in the NFL. But we'll get there. Mike might be a little more excited than me, given how his team played versus how my team played. Anyways, Mike, how the heck are you in your lush studios there in central New York?
I'm doing well, David. I'm doing so well. I'm in the correct week. It's actually week 7. I think you probably want to talk about
Oh,
week
geez,
6,
you're
but
right. I wrote week
we are
6
in week
down here, and it is
7
not. It
of
is
the
week
NFL.
7. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Let's not talk about
Yes.
week 6 again.
Well, if you're a Bills fan, you might want to.
Yeah, I don't know. It
But
wasn't
as a
all that great.
Giants fan, I
Yeah.
don't.
No.
No,
No.
no. Uh, but let's go back to last Thursday, as we always do when we do our recap shows, and I talk about real quick the Jaguars and the Saints, Dave, in the Travis Etienne Bowl here, where he really ran roughshod early in this game for the Jaguars and pretty much took control. David Carr did not have the game of his life, although he did throw for 55 attempts, Dave.
Yeah, and his brother
33 for
Derek and his brother
55.
Derek did that too.
Yeah, broke both of them.
Broke both of them.
33 for 55, 301, a touchdown and an interception, but he just didn't look sharp. He looked
Yeah.
like he was. I've never seen him so animated, even when he was in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the play calling or the blocking or what it was, but he was very animated the entire game about the pace. He wanted to pick up the pace constantly,
Mm-hmm.
get the play call in earlier, all of those things. And whoever he was yelling at on the sideline just was not acquiescing. And he was very unhappy. Also, from a Saints perspective, Alvin Kamara has kind of lost not one step, Dave, but 2 or 3. He really looks like he's running more upright than he ever has, and like he's in slow motion. He catches some of these screens this season since he's been back, and it looks like it's a play that's going to develop nicely, and he just for some whatever reason slow plays it. I don't know if he's trying to stay behind his blockers too long. But even like on a pitch play where you think normally he'd get to the corner, there was one in this game where they were in the red zone inside the 5, pitched it out wide. He had one man to beat. And any other season, you'd say, oh, touchdown without even thinking about it. And he got cut off at the corner.
Hmm.
And all running backs go through this. And certainly he's had
Sure.
his share of injuries and mileage. And, I believe he's in his early 30s. So he's old for a running back for sure. But Saints might want to consider putting him in some different spots or different plays for him.
Well,
That
it's
being said,
interesting. He touched the ball 29 times, Mike.
yeah. Oh no,
So
they're
on top
certainly
of,
focused on him still.
yeah,
Yeah,
17 carries for 62 yards, 12 receptions for 91 yards. Um, so it's interesting,
yeah,
he's a little bit slower, but hey, they're going to use him, and he is a big weapon when he's in there.
sure.
But he's just had terrible times with injuries. You may
Yeah.
continue.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Trevor Lawrence, numbers wise, didn't have as great a game as Carr, but 20 for 29, 204 and a touchdown. Didn't have to because, they ran the ball well. Christian Kirk had a nice big score for them. And the Jaguars at 4-2, Dave, or
Five
I
and
think
two.
that they go to 5-2
Yep,
now with
five
this
and two.
win. just quietly plugging along. All of a sudden now they've got the same record as Miami. We'll get to them and some other teams that, we've said are at the top of the league. And so, here they are. Like a lot of people thought before the season, but they've been kind of quiet, I think.
Yeah.
They beat the Titans in England last week, but it kind of, I don't know, the Titans are as good as they've had been, and it's an international game and all of those things, Jaguars, de facto second home, all of that. But I just wanted to give them some flowers here, Dave, that, Jacksonville, Doug Peterson and his swinging lifestyle is really paying off for these guys. They're keeping it fast and loose, and their defense is flying around. The other Josh Allen is having an incredible season rushing the passer, and they've got some studs over there. So I think they had a pick 6 in this game as well. So good for the Jaguars, and as you as an AFC top end team, fan of a top end team, you got to keep an eye on these guys in the rear view mirror as you're looking ahead as well.
Yep, for sure. Jacksonville, I mean, they beat the Bills. That's definitely big. But look, they lost to the Chiefs. They lost by 20 to the Texans.
Yeah, that's a hard one to swallow. But everyone's had a game.
They've beat the Colts twice. They beat the Falcons, and then this game against New Orleans. Let's see, Mike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what happens in their next 5 games: at Pittsburgh, home for San Francisco, home for Tennessee, at Houston, home for Cincinnati.
Okay, some playoff teams and a team they've already lost to. So, all right, I think that's a good thought there.
Yeah, they certainly look. They're 5-2. You have to contend with them. Let's see what happens when the competition gets a little bit stiffer. But they do get San Francisco and Cincinnati at home. So those things are good as far as the Jaguars go. But yeah, 5-2, looking good. We probably spent more time on that than we usually do for the Thursday way back machine, but they are playing well.
Right. Well, let's go the 1 o'clock window. I'll start with my Giants, buddy, and just get this out of the way. It's not a great football game by any imagination. I think I texted to the group text, I wish we could play the Commanders every week.
Yeah.
In the Daniel Jones era, he's had a lot of success against them, although we had a Tyrod Taylor game in this one. And certainly, the Giants defense had more sacks in this game than they had all season. They had 5 coming into the season and ended up with 6. So, that was good to see. Leonard Williams got on the board, and Dexter Lawrence had a couple, and all of those things were great to see. We got to see a little more of Jalen Hyatt, of course. Wayndale Robinson had 1 catch, but it was a big catch at the time and showed off his speed. Continues to be a distraction, running the fake reverses and all that. And then Darren Waller, showed up in this game at National Tight Ends Day.
Oh, geez.
8 targets, 7 catches, 98 yards, and a touch. Now, Tyrod Taylor, the backup veteran quarterback, of course, he's going to lean on a tight end as a safety blanket, and it's a great tight end to lean on. So, of course, happy about the win. Do I think that this team has turned a corner? No, this was not a game where I, thought, boy, they've really put it all together. They had many, many, many scoring opportunities that they didn't convert on. Who's my boy? Thibodeau dropped literally a ball in his hands wide open that would have been a walk-in pick 6. But, he plays defense for a reason.
Hands like feet. But hands like feet.
That's right. He has lobster claws.
Or the lobster claws. Whichever you want to go with there.
Lobster claws. I like
lobster claws. You sound like Scooby. Lobster claws. All right. We're getting way off track now.
I'm here to end the noise of should Tyrod start over Daniel Jones?
Oh,
Please,
geez.
please, please stop with that.
Yeah.
I know, yes, they won. They were in the game last week against the Bills. I get it. Daniel Jones is far more upside, way better with his legs. Deep balls are more accurate. I mean, I don't want to hear it. Plus, we just paid him a whole bunch of money. So Daniel
Yeah,
Jones
there's
is
that too.
playing. Yeah. So Tyrod Taylor did exactly what we signed him to do.
Absolutely.
Like
He's the backup.
like Colt McCoy 2 years ago that went to Seattle and won a game. You know, he did what we were supposed to do. He's way better than the backup options we had last year. So um, happy about that. Smart, but please stop it. That's just
Yeah.
ridiculous internet fodder that needs to end. And but I've heard it on Get Up and on NFL Network
please.
today.
Come on.
I guess they had nothing else to talk about.
Nothing else to talk about. Yeah.
Saquon gets dinged up in the arm, but comes back in and had a really, really nice game. Continues to be the focus of the offense with 21 attempts for 77 yards, 4 targets, 3 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. Made some really nice cuts, especially on the screenplay for the touchdown. So good, something to build on for next week. Absolutely, when we have the Battle of New Jersey against the Jets.
Oh boy.
But overall happy, but I wouldn't say, boy, this team has changed or turned a corner yet. So that's my thoughts on the Giants, Dave. I don't know if you caught any of it because it was on the same time as your Bills.
Yeah, no, I just saw the end of it, which certainly got a little dicey, but one stat to pick out: Washington 1 for 15 on third down. 1 for 15. So kudos to the Giants. You have that, the 6 sacks, and then 10 penalties for 75 yards. You put those 3 things together, that is a recipe for disaster as far as trying to win a close game. So good for the Giants getting a win. It's nice. Hopefully we can see Daniel Jones come back. Good job, Tyrod Taylor.
If the Commanders... Every time Brian Robinson touches the ball in the backfield for the Commanders, I get nervous. The dude is a stud. Were you going to say and his brother? Is that not his
and his
name?
brother, isn't it Bijan Robinson?
No, Bijan Robinson is in Atlanta.
Oh, he's in Atlanta. Okay. Nope.
Right. No, it's Brian. I just clicked on it just to make sure because I do the same thing. Yeah. But he's fast, he's powerful, and for some reason they're mixing in other guys in his backfield, and I'm happy for it. But the Commanders, boy, they got a long way to go with that roster still. I thought they would be better, especially on defense. But again, like you said, happy for the Giants for the win. And let's just, make that the first building block of a turnaround. Really it started last week again, even though it was a loss.
Sure.
Bills.
Yeah. Definitely
let's
showing.
get to your Bills, buddy.
Oh, jeez.
If we have to.
Yeah. Same old story the last 3 weeks. These slow starts. No points in the first quarter, only 3 points at halftime. The first play that comes out, Josh Allen throws an interception where Jabril Peppers just drops back into the open space. And I mean, he threw it right to him. Like, how do you not see him? It was just horrible. And, for a Patriots team coming in second worst offense in the league, averaging 12 points a game. The last thing you want to do is give them any confidence at all. They've already driven down the field on the opening drive and gotten a field goal, and you come out and throw the interception. They go in and get a touchdown. It's 10-0 before you even blink. And we know this is a Bills offense that can score points, right? But they haven't been able to do that the last few weeks. They haven't been able to do that since Miami. So just not, as Joe Girardi would say, it's not what you want. And so the struggle just continued. And, they don't get a fire lit under their ass until the fourth quarter when they're down, 22-10, and then all of a sudden, they come alive, they march right down the field, get a touchdown. The Patriots have the ball. Jordan Poyer punches it out. The Bills get the ball back. They drive down. They get a touchdown.
Poyer punch, yeah.
They get the 2-point conversion, and they're up 25-22. And there's a minute 40 to go. And you're like, all right,
Right.
you have to. The defense had played, I would say, like decently, not horrible, but they had made some stops. And so for me, I'm thinking this is good. The Bills defense is a strength. And
Right.
even though the Patriots offense had played good, this is going to be the time where they're going to stop them. And the first play right out of the gate is a screen pass to Stevenson. He goes 34 yards right down, almost into field goal range with the first play. And it's not what you want. Joe Girardi again. And
that's
so
the one where they threw the flag and then picked it up for the
right. They throw a
downfield.
flag for lineman downfield,
Yeah.
go back and look. It wasn't explained, but we've seen the pictures online, and sure enough, he was within the yard when the pass was released.
Right.
As you watch, he gets 4 or 5 yards downfield, but he can do that at that point. So those of you talking about that and saying that's a huge play, we understand flags getting thrown and flags getting picked up. Not crazy about it. This is the world we live in with the, my favorite referees conference after every flag is thrown. And that literally is it. Show me a call in any NFL game where the flag is thrown. The one guy goes over to the head referee, talks about it, and he immediately makes the call. No.
Right.
Doesn't happen.
Unless it's roughing the passer, which the referee himself is
right.
calling. That's the only time it's quick. Right.
And even then, sometimes there's a conversation.
Yeah,
so, the Bills defense just collapses, and the Patriots just go right down the field on them and score, with, what do they end up with? 12 seconds. So we get on there right. And, and Ian Eagle says, well, or maybe I think it was Charles Davis said, well, that Bills game against the Chiefs, they had 13 seconds left and the Chiefs scored. And I was like, oh geez, really got to bring that up. So, the Bills had one timeout left. Josh Allen drops back. There's no pressure. He steps up and fires this bomb. Hits Diggs like at the 30-yard line. So all of this terrible game, they're down 4 points. He hits Diggs. I mean, Diggs is like sliding down. I'm sure Diggs would say that's a catch I got to make. He drops it. So 5 seconds left. He would have caught it. They could have, if he catches it, they call timeout. They get one. Well, no field goal because they're down 4.
Oh,
but you get a shot at the end zone from the 30-yard line instead of from the other 25.
Right.
But you don't want to put yourself in that situation. But
it was a catchable ball by even an average NFL receiver, and he's well above average.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Like you said, he'd be the first to put his hand up, but not the play that lost them the game.
Oh, no. Just the lackadaisical. They got to figure out how to start faster. James Cook was incredible in this game out of the backfield, running the ball. Mike had been all over this last week. Why haven't they thrown the ball to him? It's like one of the first plays they threw the ball to him and he got 15 yards on a 3rd and 10 play. He's a big weapon. They need to use him more. News today that Dawson Knox hurt his wrist and he's going to be out. They don't know how long he's going to be out, which was, it stinks.
That's
but Dalton
addition by subtraction there.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, they've been using a lot of that 12 personnel. I saw, 31%, which is, up in the top 10, 15 of the league. That may change. I don't know. Maybe that'll be better for them. Hard to say. But Dalton Kincaid played well in this game. Josh Allen looked for him a lot and that went well. But now he's going to play a lot more. Quentin Morris was out, their other tight end. So we're gonna have to see what they do. The Bills, maybe somebody comes up off the practice squad. But this,
Dave, forgive me. Who's their number 3 receiver? Who I know the names, but I don't know.
Deontay Hardy.
They're putting out there. Is it Hardy?
Yes.
Okay.
And he played well in this game too.
Happy with that?
What's that?
Okay. Are you happy with that?
Yeah. I mean, he's the Isaiah McKenzie. He's the small guy.
Hmm.
He made some nice catches.
Okay.
But I think as you've pointed out for a few weeks, where's Gabe Davis? Gabe Davis had one
Right.
catch. And in this game, kudos, Josh Allen did throw the ball around and a lot of different guys caught the ball. But if Gabe Davis is your number two, he's got to have more than one catch.
Right.
And
No, I
so
agree.
I think that's a struggle. We know they've had multiple injuries on the defensive line. Ed Oliver was out. We know
Von
Daquan
Miller only
Jones is
played
out.
6 snaps.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and
What's up
Von
with that?
Miller, you didn't see. I don't know. I know he's been on
He
a
was
pitch
talking
count,
after
if
the
you will, but
game. Yeah, I was like,
didn't see him
yeah,
a lot. He's still trying to get into shape. Uh, it's not an excuse. They still have a fair amount of defensive linemen. Um, I don't know, but they have a lot of work to do at 4-3. They're 1-2 in the division. They're lucky that one win is against the Dolphins. Um,
mm,
but a lot of work to do. And again, this is another AFC, not only a divisional loss, but a conference loss. And that's the part that I think is most difficult, is losing these conference games, because when you're trying to look at, so they've lost 3 in the conference already. And when you look at the other teams they're against, the Dolphins only with 1. Now Baltimore's lost 2. Even the Steelers only have 1 loss in the conference. The Chiefs are 4-0. These teams are competing against. Jacksonville's got 2 losses, but they beat the Bills. There's a lot of challenges there. So they've got to do some soul searching. They have a short turnaround week this week. They play in the dreaded Thursday night game against the
the
Yuccaneers.
Buccaneers.
So enough as far as the Bills go, but my gosh, just a very,
So
very
five
difficult game
games,
to watch.
5 games before the bye week. Yeah, the Buccaneers on Thursday, then a Sunday night game against the Bengals, Broncos on Monday night, then the Jets, and then the Eagles
Yeah.
before the break. Both of those are 4:25 starts on CBS.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. This last game was their last 1:00 start until New Year's Eve.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
4:25s,
People want
8
to see
o'clocks. Yeah.
good teams, though.
Yeah.
So 5 games before the break, what's your what record would make you happy in those 5 games before the break?
Oh, I'm looking at
Figuring
this.
you've got 2 playoff teams in the Bengals and the Eagles, 2 just terrible teams in. Well, I guess I can't say the Jets are terrible anymore.
No, but I think if
and
you look at
a
it,
division opponent.
yeah,
Team
if you
should
look at
beat.
this, yeah, teams they should beat: Tampa Bay, Denver, the Jets.
Right.
You'd hate to say
And
they lose.
split the
They
other
lose
2,
and
so
they
go
lose on the road.
4-1.
So 4-1. That's what they need to do. And that win needs to be against the Bengals, because it's an AFC game. If they
Because of
lose to the
aforementioned
Bengals,
conference.
yes, that would be difficult. They'll pick up wins, against Denver and the Jets, which is nice. But 3 of those games, they need to win the 3 AFC games.
Right. And you never know on Thursday night. It's just a Thursday night's a crapshoot, and the Buccaneers are not a pushover.
Nope.
By any means.
No, they are not. Yep.
That's scary. It's a little bit scary, but I agree. I would even, 3-2, with that win over Miami in hand, probably I would be okay with if I were you. But
yeah, but
anymore,
then it puts them at
the
7-5.
sphincters are puckering.
Yeah, you'd much rather be 8-4 at that point with some sort of signature win. Well, they have their signature win right now against the Dolphins. So,
right, and they come out of the break, Chiefs and Cowboys back to back.
Yep.
Then Chargers, who are not great, Patriots, which you just lost to, and then the Dolphins season. So,
yep.
It's no cakewalk for them as far as the division goes. I think it's important for them to win the division and get that week off as well. But we're way a lot of football between.
Yep, a lot of football.
But, lot of football. Trying to get a good perspective on, this before the season Super Bowl contender. Where are they now, and what challenges lie ahead? Yep. So, Dave, give me one area that absolutely has to improve from week to week in order for them to be ultimately successful this season. Is there one glaring area, or is it just a bunch of them that have to come together?
I
Is
can't
the
believe I
line,
can't
are you
believe I'm
okay
going to
with the
say
line?
this. Yeah, no, the line, well, the defensive line play has been bad the
Mm,
last few weeks. And I know there's injuries. Um, I can't even believe that I'm at the beginning of the season that I would even say this, but the offense has got to be better.
yeah.
I mean, and it's just a blanket statement. The offense has to be better. And that's just all the way
Okay.
around. That's play calling. Um, Josh Allen was leading the league in completion percentage. He had some bad throws yesterday. Guys were open, just missed them. Um, you know, yeah, and I
Yeah.
really, and
Okay.
the slow starts. They have to find the way to get off to fast starts. Now, if that means that they change their philosophy when they win the coin toss and stop deferring to the second half so their offense can get on the field and get some rhythm, then maybe do that for a few weeks.
Okay. I
Just,
like that. I like
you
that a
know,
lot.
just try it.
I don't think defer seems to be automatic in it. And like you
Yeah.
said, sometimes you got to say, you know what, we're going for it right now.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean,
so
I
none
can
other.
remember years when Syracuse was really good and they would win the coin toss. And when their offense was good, they always put the offense on the field first. I know it's a different time, different generation, but the argument being put your best unit on the field first.
Okay.
And I know the Bills defense is good, but at this point with the struggles, you got to say offense, you have got to get us going. And we're going to have the confidence to say we're going to put you on the field first and get us going. So there you go.
Thinking of the quote from Little Giants and Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis go out for the coin toss, and Moranis says, "Good luck with the coin tosses," and Ed O'Neill goes, "It doesn't matter. We win the toss, we take the ball, we cram it down your throat. We lose the toss, you get the ball, we take it from you, and then we cram it
Cram
down
it
your
down your
throat."
throat. Yes.
None other than Central New York sports legend Mike Lindsley tweeted yesterday. He thinks that the McDermott um, coaching staff and the front office have reached their peak. This is the feeling of where they could take the
Hmm.
organization, and that the Bills have peaked, and this is what they're going to be unless they make a change sometime soon, is what he was implying. Are you ready? You're prepared to join him in that? It seems a little premature, but I'm not a Bills fan.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
think right now it's premature, but if this continues for the rest of the season and
mhm,
let's just throw out a number that they're 10-7 at the end of the year and playing in a wild
okay,
card game
mhm,
and
on the
and
road.
and on the road
Yeah.
and they lose,
Mm,
there's going to be a lot of questions there because 10-7 is going to mean the offense continues to struggle, the defense continues to struggle, they're inconsistent. um they win enough games to get in the playoffs. Yeah, I if we get to the
okay,
end of the year and it's still like this, I think there's going to be some serious questions. Now, do I think anything's going to happen? Probably not, but
I got you.
there will be more support for that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I understand that he's trying to have a sports take, and
Yeah,
he may end up being correct, but
sure.
for sure. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. And then lastly on this game, Dave, we have to say your boy Bill Belichick
Oh,
just exuding enthusiasm with his 300th win, regular season win as a coach. Um, Only two have done more. I'm sure you know who they are, right?
yes, I do. George Hallis and
Yes,
Don
Papa
Shula.
Bear and Don Shula names. Um, they showed the list of the people above 250, and the only modern one is Andy Reid.
Yeah.
So he's only at 253. So he's got a bit to go. Uh, Belichick can catch Shula at 318 next season if he continues to coach. So that'll be, I mean, he'd have to have a pretty decent season and finish pretty strong here, but still,
Yeah.
um, be interesting to see if that's even a thought. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter to him. But anyway, I knew you didn't want to talk about that, so that's why I brought it up.
Great.
The other big game in the 1 o'clock spot, Dave, is Ravens Lions. Just turned out to be a full out Ravens
Oh yeah.
just hammer job. As
Took him out behind the
TV
woodshed.
covers, we got MVP Lamar in the first half. They just didn't let up, and it ends up being 38-6, and it wasn't that close.
No,
And
no, it was not.
Dan Campbell said all the right things after the game. They kicked our ass. We lost in every aspect. All of those things are correct. So I always thought the Lions have been a little overrated so far this season, but in the NFC, you really don't have a lot of people to hang your hat on, especially in the Central. But I was really disappointed in the lopsidedness of this game. I thought, it should be a battle, and it just wasn't from the first play. Anything else you want to add about that game?
Nope. Just thinking about the Lose With Us segment where I said I'd taken the Ravens -3 because I thought they would show up and do well. I did not think it was going to be a blowout like of this magnitude.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, 357 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, another one rushing, one of the passing touchdowns. I think I heard somebody say like he was walking around, he bent down and tied his shoes and then threw the ball. Just got all kinds of time.
9.2 seconds thing.
It was bad. He could have made a plate of pasta in that time. Not much else to say. The Ravens just look dominant, and 5-2 after 7 games for the Ravens.
Yeah. What other game?
Oh, Mike, we got to talk about the Browns and the Colts. There.
Yeah, the piece of shit organization that the Browns are, which is too bad because I think PJ Walker is a great story.
Oh, he is a great
got to come in and be the hero in this game with Deshaun Watson just
it's benched,
laid out. And then gets benched after he passes concussion protocol, and they don't put him back in the game, which is interesting.
Yeah, 1 for 5.
All the money,
five yards and a pick for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. But this game, it was the Myles Garrett game. Not only was he incredible on defense, but Dave, did you see the block punt?
Yeah, a field goal, block field goal.
Block field goal, right? Sorry.
Yep.
He bleeped the entire line without touching anybody, because if you do touch someone, it's considered pushing off and you can't do it. But he leaps over the entire line of scrimmage and is right there. I mean, the field goal kicker had no chance but to just hammer it right into his face mask, essentially. And they asked him after the game, is that a difficult thing to do? And you go, well, frankly, if you're me, no, not really. I'm pretty athletic. And that was something. Go watch that play, folks, on the YouTubes or wherever. But the Browns pull out a 39-38 win against a game Colts team with Gardner Minshew, who apparently is now in at quarterback for the rest of the season, with Anthony Richardson going to be out for the Colts. Stop me if someone said before that AR-15 was going to be a little too fragile to get through an NFL career. This was a fun game. I didn't see a lot of it until the very end when they cut to it.
And what a crazy end. What a crazy ending.
What happened at the end? Refresh our memories.
Right. And so let me first say those Colts jerseys and helmets, so nice. So nice with the dark blue, the black helmets. Wow. I mean, I was like, what? Yep. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the Colts? Like, wow. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. Just some great uniform combo. So so the Browns are trying to drive down for the winning points. Back-to-back penalties in the last 40 seconds of the game. The first one, the illegal contact, where there was a fumble that had been recovered by the Colts. I think it was PJ Walker, right? Fumbled.
Yes.
And then there's a flag downfield and it's illegal contact. Boy, they showed the replay. Man, it was so light. So light.
Very.
So questionable. And then the next one, Mike, they throw the pass. PJ Walker throws the pass into the end zone. There's definitely some contact, okay, but my take on it was not a catchable pass, and
Right.
that used to be part of pass interference calls that they would just say it wasn't catchable. I mean, he's in the very back edge of the end zone, and the ball's way over his head. They call pass interference, so they get the ball on the 1 yard line, and Cleveland gets 4 chances from the one and punches it in to go ahead. So just some real questionable calls. Once again with the NFL, just all kinds of issues with their officiating. It's just an absolute head scratcher to me. There's, then there's other plays like the Bills Giants last week where I think was more legitimate contact
Not called.
on Waller, and it doesn't get called. So I don't know what you want to do with that, but
it's never going to be
certainly
consistent.
nope.
It's just too subjective of a penalty to call consistently across the board and across crews. I get that, and that's part of the game. But I feel like there just should be some more defined rules.
Yeah.
Like the second penalty was again was it Peoples Jones? Let the people have what they want. Give them some Jones in the end zone, and like you said, light contact. It didn't change the direction of the receiver. It didn't alter his ability to catch the ball. Ball
Nope.
was probably uncatchable. Right. Technically, yes. Did he make contact a little too early? Very lightly. Very, in real time. I don't know. It's very ticky tack to me. I agree. But crazy circumstances at the end in a game that sees the Browns now go 4-2.
Yeah.
And keep pace with the Steelers in that division. Which was not something we thought we were going to say coming into the season.
Nope, definitely not. Yeah,
that Browns defense scary, and probably, again, from an AFC perspective, there's a lot of teams trending upwards right now. Not all of them are going to fit into that playoff schedule. So a very good team or two are going to be left out of the AFC side of the playoffs. As it stands. Speaking of the Steelers, they beat the Rams 24-17. The Rams really couldn't get much going early in this game, and Najee Harris has a nice game, especially in the second half for the Steelers, including, I believe, the game-winning touchdown, 14 attempts, 53 yards, and a touch for him. George Pickens, who was losing his mind out there, Dave. He got a penalty for unsportsmanlike or taunting, and then the next play he's doing the same exact thing practically, and his own teammates had to drag him off the field. He's a little bit cuckoo go nuts for my taste, but he has 5 catches for 107 yards. He's certainly a nice weapon. Dave, are you familiar with the Deontay Johnson scoring drought at all?
I had him on my fantasy team last year and eventually dropped him because he was not doing anything. So my guess is that has continued into.
He has not scored since 2021. He has not scored a touchdown in like 19 starts, not counting injury. Yeah, it's crazy. And there's people, that podcast I listen to, that Every week he's a Steelers fan, and every week they bet the prop Deontay Johnson score a touchdown, and he's like, I refuse to stop betting it
Oh,
because it's
we
gonna
gotta
hit.
tell that to
And
Stevie.
every week, yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. I'll have to look that one up this week
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
talk to Stevie
Or
who's
put it
with
into
us.
one of your
But
parlays.
one of my same game parlays or something. Are the Steelers for real? I mean, what do you think about the Steelers
Still
team?
a little too inconsistent offensively for me. Thought Pickett would be a
Yeah,
little bit better, but they're winning, and
yeah,
they're putting themselves, in a spot. They're 3-1 in the AFC. They have a minus 24 point differential, which you don't like. Again, just 103
ouch.
points scored on the season. Um, but they're going to be right there.
Yep.
Which is, on some of those kind of what we talked about a little bit, that they at the beginning of the year, that they'd be game and difficult. And that's, and how well Pickett
That's,
did would defined on how well they play. And that's kind of where we're at.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, Seahawks handled the Cardinals 20-10. Not much really to say. Probably Josh Dobbs' last start this season, unless Kyler Murray gets hurt again, because he'll be back next week. We'll see if he makes a big difference in that Cardinals team, who is just 1-6. And while they're tough and try hard, they just don't have enough
No,
talent all the way around on that roster.
nope.
What else, buddy? I guess we got to go Chiefs Chargers,
Yeah,
right?
Chiefs Chargers was in the afternoon slot. Um, I mean, what do you want to say? They throw the ball to Kelsey and he catches it. 12 catches for 179 yards um, and a touchdown.
It's something
And
like 22 straight targets that ended up in completions now from Mahomes to Kelsey. You just
yeah,
don't see that. It's not only is he targeted, he catches. He's amazing.
yeah,
That second quarter was drunk with points. We had 5 touchdowns,
yeah,
and I really thought that it was setting up for a second half shootout, and the Chargers forgot to show up in the second half,
yeah. Justin
and
Herbert really, really not good. 17 of 30 for 259, a touch and 2 INTs.
yeah.
That's just, I mean, that's not getting it done. We know it's the Chiefs, but the Chargers are talented. And it's, again, just another example of this team that just can't seem to get out of its own way, Mike.
Yeah, I would imagine Brandon Staley might be the first coach fired this year.
Yeah.
Just because of, as you said, all the talent, and they just can't put it together. And Herbert seems to be regressing. And so a team that we thought was going to be good, and we've been talking all podcast about how good the AFC is and how proud of this top it is. This is not a team now
This is
that
not one of
at
those
2-4.
teams.
They might be nominated for get out of here pretty soon, buddy.
Yeah,
So
it is not looking good for those Los Angeles Chargers.
what did
Not
you
good.
think about the Chiefs trading midweek for Mecole Hardman from the Jets and getting him back as another option that has been there the last 4 years, and signed with the Jets in the offseason and the free agent deal?
I don't know,
Tried
just trying
popcorn
to get,
fart, nothing for you.
just
Was it
trying to get
nothing?
another, trying to get a familiar face around there. Um, I don't know.
I thought it was a referendum on Darius Toney really not,
Yeah.
continuing to be a good talent, but really not getting it. Don't know if he has the brain for the game, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him stupid. I'm saying he is stupid.
Mike, oh God, that's funny. I was just looking at the Chargers, back to them for a sec. Their next 4 games: Bears, Jets, Lions, Packers. So basically playing the NFC North and sprinkling in the Jets. And
The
then,
Packers.
yeah.
Speaking of which, Jordan Love regressing,
Yep.
throwing bad interceptions and letting the Broncos beat them 19-17 and into two teams that aren't very good and are really not going anywhere this season.
Yep, 2-4 for the Packers, 2-5 now for the Broncos. Then you had the Sunday night game, Mike.
Big disappointing.
Yeah, a lot of build up for the 2-5-1 teams. Stop me if you've heard this before. The Eagles, go out to a big lead early. They just look better. I mean, they were up 17-3. Again, I think Miami, when they play the better teams, they're just not as good. Playing teams that have better defenses, they're just not as good. And they couldn't run the ball, Mike. They just couldn't run the ball at all. And, that was a huge factor in this game. 12 carries for 45 yards. That's 3.8 yards per carry.
Yeah, and the Eagles pass rush, made Tua uncomfortable all night. And, when you get a good quarterback under pressure, it's tried and true for years and years and years. That's always the case. And we saw that here while the Eagles secondary isn't very good when they don't have to cover very long because of the pressure, that takes them up 2 or 3 notches. And that's what we saw. So, yeah, Tyreek Hill had a spectacular touchdown, but that was really the lone offensive bright spot for the Dolphins. I am sick of hearing how great the Eagles are in the Kelly green uniforms. I think they're highly overrated. Personally, I loved the Giants throwback uniforms that they were wearing this weekend, and the Colts. I like that uniform, but this Kelly green, it made my eyes hurt, and then mixed with the Dolphins colors, it was just visually not a fun game to look at either.
Yeah, it's funny, Mike. Now that you said that, it reminded me. I don't normally watch the preview shows on either CBS or Fox, but I happen to have it on yesterday, and Phil Simms. And I'm like, really? They're talking about like their upsets and stuff. And I thought it was ridiculous, but Phil Simms, and he says, well, the Giants are wearing the throwbacks. He's like, what does that mean? Of course they're going to win. I know he's being ridiculous, but they did win with the 80s throwback jerseys. So thought that was interesting.
Yeah. For sure. So we have the Monday night game tonight. Of course, Niners and Vikings, as we record, they're getting ready to kick off. McCaffrey is playing. Samuel is not. Trent Williams is, it looks like. So, we expect the Niners to be mostly at full steam. Of course, the Vikings still without Justin Jefferson. So a lot of the juice that might have made this more interesting just isn't there tonight. But still, worth a watch. We also have Game 7 in Major League Baseball with Astros and Rangers. And it looks like we're going to have another Game 7 tomorrow. Right now, Dave, the Diamondbacks are 5-1 against the Phillies. That'll even that series at 3 if that score holds late in the game here.
Yep, going to the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, so it should be an interesting evening of football. Is there anyone we should nominate for Get Out of Here? I think we.
No, I think some of those teams.
Week.
Yeah, we did, and Carolina was on a bye.
I guess the Chargers aren't
quite
ready to go.
Not quite yet.
But they're soon.
Yeah. Looking at next week's games, Mike.
My Giants get a win, so say they're off the bubble. Yeah, let's look at next week.
Yep, off the bubble. So Giants, Jets. The Giants are the home team. The Jets are favored by 3. That's hilarious to me. That's in the 1:00 slot. You have Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. Should be a pretty good game there.
Rams and the Cowgirls.
Cowgirls.
Yeah,
could be.
I want to see Dak against that Rams defense. I don't know if the Rams offense can keep up, especially with Micah Parsons and the boys. But Dak against that Rams defense might be interesting.
Yeah.
What else?
Cleveland at Seattle, Mike.
All of a sudden, that's a very good football game.
Yep, and that's in the 4:05 slot on Fox.
Yep. boy, there's not a lot of great ones here. buddy.
Bengals 49ers.
Yeah. Okay.
That,
Okay.
that's in the late time slot. The Sunday night game. Oh my God. Bears
Ugh.
at Chargers. Yikes.
And
And Monday night.
night,
Yeah.
Lions Raiders. Yikes again. I mean, how bad are the Raiders? They might go Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue as their starting quarterback next week because
Yeah.
the Hoyer situation is not good. I don't know when Garoppolo will be back. I don't think they know.
No.
How serious his injuries are. So that has the Lions really pissed off. I'm sure. Dan Campbell held them frothing at the mouth. It's -8 right now.
-8. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see that
could
go up a
go
little
to
bit.
10 or 12 before kickoff. I think money's going to pour in on the Lions there at -8. But,
yeah, for sure. So there's some good games. There's some clunkers. Welcome to the NFL. It's kind of
Right.
how it is. But Jets Giants should be good. That'll be interesting. The Jets coming off the bye week, the Giants coming off the win against the Commanders. So, yep. And Bills Thursday night, as we talked about, against Tampa. Buffalo favored by 8.5. I mean, in a real play well, yeah, sure, 8.5. But I'm going to imagine some of that money is going to go on Tampa.
I mean, you'd have to, right?
Yeah.
I still expect the Bills to win. They're too good not to put it together.
Yeah.
And I think that coaching staff is good enough to put it back together. So I'm a little shocked at that 8.5 number, especially on Thursday. But we'll see what happens. Anything else you want to cover? Anything else going on in the NFL? Or all right,
no,
good.
I think that's pretty much it. And we just have to continue to see. Well, we know Justin Fields. Yeah, it is Justin Fields, right?
Well, he's out too.
Yeah, he's out, and that the Bagent kid played decently for the Bears, so it looks like he's in line to play again this next week. I mean,
I would wait till Fields is 110% healthy. Get his mentals right. As what was it Lynch? Marshawn Lynch would say, "Get your mentals right."
Yeah,
get your mentals up. Get your chicken right. Take care of your monies. What a quote machine that guy is.
Yeah. Anyway, good stuff there.
And good stuff today. Always fun bantering NFL with you, buddy. Look for us next with Lose With Us. We might do a college football podcast. We're, of course, watching the baseball intently, enjoying the heck out of that postseason. And we end up with 2 Game 7s. That will be a lot of fun. So definitely, check in on that. But whatever you do, just follow us on all of our social media platforms. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us some feedback, some comments, things you'd like to see us cover, and comment on what we have covered. We would appreciate it here at Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen as we strive for 5. Good night, everybody.
See ya.